Isn't it fascinating how out of the blue we get those random cryptocurrencies that go up massively, that enter the top 100, the 100 largest cryptocurrencies, and nobody has heard of them before? Does it still make sense to buy into the Siren protocol? And let's have a look at what's driving the momentum, who's buying here, who's selling here. Let's have a look at the on-chain data, the data most people are not considering. Now, Siren is the most viewed cryptocurrency on CoinGecko today. It has just reached more than $1 billion of market cap. In the last month, it went up by almost 600%. We are now at $1.52. The token is listed on the Binance Smart Chain. It has more than 41,000 holders. Now, most other crypto channels, they just make very superficial research. For example, they look at the website, they look at the social media, what kind of announcements have been made, and that's then potentially explaining the price. That's not though working for Siren. Let me show you what I mean. Siren is an AI analyst agent, and we could simply make the argument that now everybody is hyped about AI and so people are buying Siren. But just have a look at the roadmap page, for example. Siren Alpha, Siren 1 and Siren 2 have already been completed. Siren 3.0 apparently will be completed in Q2 of 2025. Now that's already almost 1 year ago. So it seems like the creators of this project, they didn't even care to update the roadmap. The website is outdated. Now, what about the social media? It appears as if the social media is only interested in the price development. And there's something else that's interesting here. Have a look at the interactions on social media. There aren't that many comments, there aren't that many likes. 3 days ago, just 11 likes over here. How is this in line with more than 40,000 holders? Shouldn't there be more interaction with the social media accounts, especially when the project is going parabolic like this? Everybody should be following the Twitter account, but that's not what's going on. And so we have to go beyond just looking at social media and the website. We have to actually look at the on-chain analytics. Who's buying here? Who's selling here? What's creating all of that activity? And is that activity sustainable? Can the price potentially rally further from here? What we've got here on the left, that's the number of new users versus returning users on the Binance Smart Chain. Now have a look at how many new wallets buy and sell the token in a day. It's only 1 to 200 and it's not even growing that much. This is a 1 month chart. And again, in the last month, the price appreciated by around 600%. The vast majority of trading happens by returning users. Now check this out. This is the number of buyers and sellers over time. There's a few hundred buyers and sellers, but how much of this is organic? And how much of this might be just automated trading bots that do some arbitrage trading, maybe between the centralized exchanges and the decentralized exchanges, maybe between the spot market and the perpetual futures market. We're going to talk about the perpetual futures market in a minute because it does matter for the Siren token. Some things don't add up. Have a look at the number of wallets over time. Now we don't just look at the total number of wallets, we are now segregating based on minimum holding threshold. Now currently the price is at $1.52, and so when a wallet holds at least 1,000 tokens, that's roughly $1,500 worth of the token. For the chart in the middle, it's 10,000 tokens. For the chart on the right, it's 100,000 tokens. Now, does this look natural to you? How within a few days, the number of holders almost doubles to then very quickly crash down again. Then nothing happens again. Then it crashes down again. To me, this looks like manipulation by a few central entities. It might be the team, it might be a third party, but usually for most cryptocurrencies, those kind of charts look much more smooth, right? We tend to see how the number of holders increases, how it then might stall a bit, how it could potentially turn around, but it never has these step functions. It never just shoots up and nothing happens and it shoots up again and then it crashes. This seems to not be natural. Something is being manipulated here with the number of holders on chain. And that's true for all wallets. It's true for the small wallets. It's true for the large wallets as well. Right here on the right, we see each wallet holding at least $150,000 worth of the token. And so really nowadays it doesn't seem to really mean that much when a cryptocurrency is in the top 100. There can be enough manipulation to push up a price into the top 100. The market cap of Siren has just crossed the $1 billion mark. Now, when the directly available tokens that are floating on the market is very small and there's a lot of locked up supply that's not circulating, it's very easy to manipulate market caps up. Imagine you were to issue a new cryptocurrency and you issue, say, 1 billion tokens. And then you just have, say, 10 tokens that you put on the decentralized exchanges. And then you trade those tokens and you trade them so that those 10 tokens are all worth $1 each. Right? So you're just investing, say, $10 in order to make that happen. With the $10, you suddenly have created 1 billion worth of market cap. And if you just sell one of those tokens, push down the price to 90 cents, you will have on paper destroyed 100 million worth of market cap. So it's really the ratio of how much of the supply is currently floating versus how much of the supply is stashed away. And the price discovery does not happen anymore on the spot market. Have a look at this. In the last 24 hours, we only saw 7 million worth of trading volume on PancakeSwap. So that's the leading decentralized exchange, and that's on the Binance Smart Chain. Compare this with the perpetual futures market. Here we had 810 million worth of trading volume, 100 times of the trading volume. Now, what does this mean? Imagine you hold some of the supply, and imagine you also offer bets on that supply. And imagine you create a lot of volatility, the price goes up and down, and so everybody is looking at the token. You don't have to imagine too much for that, because this is exactly what's currently happening, right? Siren is one of the most viewed cryptocurrencies now. In that situation, when you are offering bets on the price, and you see that most people say bet on falling prices because they don't really believe in a price rally, because maybe they've done the research on the website, they see the website is outdated, there's no real reason for the price to go up. So a lot of retail investors suddenly bet on falling prices of Siren. What are you doing when you have a lot of the supply already and you offer the bets on that price? What you're doing is you always enter the counter position. So let's say the retail investor is betting on falling prices on average, and you at the same time open the counter position, you are betting on rising prices. What you can then do is, because you own a lot of the supply and it's very easy to manipulate the price with very little capital, you can then push up the price. You can buy up more of the supply. You've got a lot of bets on the price, hundreds of millions of dollars on the price in terms of bets, but just takes you a few $100,000 to move hundreds of millions worth of market cap. That's exactly what's going on with Siren. Have a look at the funding rate. The funding rate is negative now after this massive rally. The trading volume on the perpetual futures has exploded and the open interest has come up massively. It's now at 120 million. So there's now 120 million worth of bets on the Siren price, but at the same time there was only 8 million worth of trading volume on the decentralized exchanges, and that's on the spot market. So as a market maker, you can potentially liquidate tens of millions of speculative bets on the perpetual futures market, make money with those liquidations, but just buying a few $100,000 worth of the token on spot. You are offering bets on the outcome of a soccer match, but at the same time you also bought the referee. You have impact on who's winning. Is it team A or team B? And if everybody bets on team A, you simply just pay the referee that team B will win, and then you win the bet. This is the classical example of a short squeeze. In the last 24 hours, we saw 9.6 million worth of short liquidations on Siren. Compare this with the long liquidations, only 250K. So really, what's going on here is that many people are very skeptical that this rally here is justified. And then there's simply enough manipulation. Now there's an interesting point here. We are currently at 1 billion of market cap for Siren. When we look at similar kind of short squeezes in the past, they tended to turn around somewhere around 2 to 4 billion. Because the game gets harder and harder, the higher the market cap is. When the market cap is at 10 billion, at 20 billion, at 30 billion, it's much harder to push the price up and down. And then very likely the game will just be played with another asset. So at some point the Siren price will come down. Manipulation cannot last forever. But as long as there's enough people, enough retail investors that have attention on the token and that are betting on falling prices, the short squeeze is likely going to continue. And the price will continue to go up. Not because of organic reasons, not because the project is so great, not because so many people want the price to go up. It's because a few key players, a few market makers manipulate the price up just because too many people are bearish. If you got some value out of this video, feel free to give it a like. It will help the channel grow. Feel free to also subscribe. I publish videos regularly on this channel, not just on individual altcoins, but also on the general crypto market, usually backed by data, usually backed by simulations of buying and selling. So looking very much forward to seeing you again here on YouTube. Looking also forward to seeing you potentially in the premium membership. This is where I share my own trades. There's also a 1-week money back guarantee. So in case you don't like premium, just message me in the first week and I refund you 100%. No questions asked. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Cheers.